Yeah, the previous training games have all been fairly tight, haven't they? But this one was far from it, really. What do you read into that?
Well, we coming to a stadium, I think, made a big difference. I think you could see the senior players loved it. You get used to it. I've had that kind of experience. Some of the younger players have probably never played in this stadium before, so it was a little bit of you have to get up to getting used to playing in these types of stadiums. There was one team that was really focused, probably had more of the experienced players on, and then there was one team where we made it a little bit more youthful and wanted to see how they would react under pressure. Maybe the backs against the walls, maybe conceding goals. Maybe we wanted to see how they handled that. And I think we saw everything today that probably confirmed what we thought, really, is that there's still a long way to go with some of the players that we've brought in over the last 3 camps.
How frustrating is it getting for you, though, Phil? We all talked about, when we saw you in September, we all felt like it was a new start, that we'd finally got the football back and we were sort of building. You were talking about a new cycle and leaving the team in a good position for your successor. How frustrating has it been for you to just have these games one by one sort of cancelled?
Yeah, I mean, we've tried not to think about that side, really. We've tried to be really positive and say, well, we're lucky really to still have camps and to still have football, to still be able to come to a stadium like this, because I think ultimately it has been frustrating. I think the players are crying out for competitive games where they can go out into a stadium and test themselves against the best, and that's what I really want. I think we've got February, we've got April, where hopefully we've got some exciting plans where we can play some real top class opposition. We haven't had that for the last 3 camps, but I think what we have done, we've managed to get the best out of what is a situation that everybody in the world is being affected by. And I suppose that we could have played maybe tier 3, tier 2 opposition, but I think playing against each other has provided better solutions for us. We've been able to expose and accelerate some of the younger players into this environment, and we've seen a lot. Which we wouldn't have done if we'd have had loads of fixtures in competitive games where the result really and the momentum of the result probably overshadows the need to develop.
So do you think you are now in a better position than you were at the end of March or the start?
I think if you're thinking, say, September, well, I suppose March, Sheebleys, when we first introduced those 7 younger players to now there's probably 14 in there now. I am even more convinced now that these younger players, the majority are up to the level, the majority are ready to play, the majority will get opportunities in February. And I think it's just confirmed these last 3 camps where we're at and my feelings about where we need to go to. So I suppose that is a massive positive.
And just last one from me. Team GB, you probably knew you were going to be asked about it again. You said in September that you were hoping for a quick resolution. Where are we at with that process now, and is it going to be?
I don't know if it's going to be me. I think I said it in the last camp. I expected the decision to be imminent, and I still think that. So we just have to wait. The players are just going to have to wait for that to happen. Hopefully, it'll happen soon, and the players can concentrate on who's the boss of the GB, and there can be total clarity.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. Could we go to Emma Sanders next from the BBC?
Hi, Phil. Thanks, Wendy. I just wanted to ask about the back 3 that we saw in the away team of Leah, Lotta, and Millie. It seemed to work really well tonight. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I've got to say I love the system. I really did. We played it in the first camp. Because we wanted to, we feel as if it's a system that we wanted to introduce, and we played it again today. I think the thing with that system, you need to have the right profiled players in the right position. I think what we saw today, we had the right players in the right positions that fit the right profile. Even the outside, the number 7s in 11 in Ella and Nikita. We had three forwards up there with Beth England that all had qualities that suited the system. That's one thing we did learn from the September camp. But Leah Lotta played together for Arsenal. Millie Turner has been, I'd say, probably one of the the ones that have probably jumped out if you'd have asked me in September, where would Millie Turner be? I don't think I would have envisaged her to be where she is today. So she's been a breath of fresh air, I've got to say, and making big strides forward in a position where there's lots of competition.
Yeah, you mentioned there about the system and the fact that you like that formation. I'm just interested in how much dialogue, if any, you've got with the new coaching staff that are coming in. Are you discussing what formations and what profiles seem to be working at the moment? Okay, thanks. We saw Rinzola Babajay come on, and she seemed to really impress. Yeah, a few words on her impact.
Yeah, Rins. Obviously, you I see you at Liverpool games, Emma, and I think in there is got the potential to be a real special player. She does things that get me off my feet, off my seat, and that's why we're going to invest a lot of attention, a lot of time. She's going to have to probably be patient. We're going to have to see some consistency in everything, elite behaviours, in on and off the pitch, consistency in her play. But maybe during a week when you come away from a camp, you think about 2 or 3 instances that catch your eye. Rinsola probably so far has done that. She scored a goal yesterday that was absolutely fantastic. So I quite like those players. I think they're players that you think when you get to those big moments, maybe in 3 years' time, she could be one that could be a game changer for us. So we're going to invest time in those types of players like Rinsola and Lauren James, who are not ready yet, but maybe in 2-3 years' time they will be.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned Lauren James there, because do you think that those kind of players are a bit of, a bit of a maverick?
I always think that those are the types of players that win you tournaments, win you league titles. What I would say about those crop of young players, they've still got an absolute loads of work to do. We do profiling, physical testing. The top of the leaderboard is still your Bronze, your Hortons, your Whites, your Demi Stokes, your Jill Scotts. It's still those. They're still leading the way. They still are the most important players. They're the ones that these younger players like we brought in have got to get to that level. We saw today they've got to get to that level of every single minute of every day performing to the best of their ability. No questions answered. And that's what we've got. We've got an incredible crop of senior players that we have to continue to be thankful for, that when these younger players are coming through, like the Lauren Jameses, the Rinsolas, the Ella Toons, they've got to get up to speed very quickly. Because if not, they'll get exposed. And some people today got exposed because they're not at that level yet. And we will continue to expose them, but they have to put the hard yards in. And that's what we've told them.
Cheers.
Thanks, Emma. Could we go now to Ami Ruskai for goal.com?
Hi, Phil. Just kind of following on from what you were saying to Emma there about, these younger players being in this environment with those experienced players. How much are the likes of Rinsola and Lauren James going to benefit from just these camps, even though we've not got these competitive games?
Well, they've got a decision to make, those younger players that are not quite ready. They either go away and put the hard yards in, or they go away and think, shoulda, woulda, could have, I've got potential, I should be here, should be there, without putting the work in. And that's where we're at now. We're at the end of 3 camps. In February, I think I'll only be picking 23. So those that think they've got potential have got to earn the right to then come into an England squad. It's been quite. We've opened up the camps to 28 to 30 players. We've brought people in and accelerated people's development. But now the message from this camp is that you've still got a long way to go. You've still got to, in and around the camp, get up to the levels of intensity of those top senior players that we've got. They are our foundation. They're the ones that I will select when it comes to February, because they're the ones that actually are at the level to play at the top level. And they've got a decision to make. Do I put the hard yards in? And that's doing everything that your coach says and more. And at the moment, they need to keep pushing. And the senior players are a tremendous example for them to follow.
And just quickly, Lauren James's first senior camp, really. What have you made of her over these last few days? Even though, you say she's got a long way to go, what kind of impression has she made on you so far?
Well, I think I'll just repeat it again. I see what I've seen on this camp is no different than what I see when I go to Lee Sports Village. Someone with incredible ability, someone with incredible potential, but someone that's got a lot of work to do. And what we've done over the last three camps, we've not differentiated between what I expect from a younger player and what I expect from Jill Scott, Lucy Bronze, Steph Orton. I want the same. For us to be successful, everybody's got to raise the bar. I've probably got 6, 7 players that are at the absolute elite level in every facet of performance. We now need to get to 14, 15, 16. So people are going to have to make real sacrifices in their careers, in their training programs, in everything that they do, for us to be successful. And that is the challenge, and that's the challenge that they want, and that's the challenge that I demand.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, Amy. Could we go to Katie Wyatt for The Athletic now, please?
Hi, Phil. You sort of touched on her performance a little bit when you were. And last one from me. What are you going to do about goalkeepers going forward? Because we saw Karen Bardsley called up but not used today. What's her role going to be within the squad going forward?
Well, we called Karen up because she's played more football since the last camp. I think she's been really unlucky with that injury that she suffered in the World Cup. I think at the World Cup, I thought she was probably one of the best keepers in the world. I think she's someone that can make big saves. She's someone that when I see her in the net gives me great confidence. And what we wanted to do with KB on this particular trip is to get her into the environment to see where her level was. She's played 3 games for City, Barry, over the period of the last 2 months, and we want to see her in this environment where it's intense, and see where her level is, and see how far we can push her. And because ultimately, if you're thinking 15 months ago, she was one of the top keepers in the world, and so I wanted to see where she was. We've got some fantastic young keepers in there who are doing well, but still got a lot of growth.
Great, thank you, Phil.
Thanks, Katie. Could we go to Phil Medlicott for PA now? Phil?
Hi, Phil. Hi, yeah, you hear me all right? Hi, yeah, just a couple. Firstly, you mentioned exciting plans for the new year. Yeah, I think it said February and April. Are you able to say any more at all about sort of the teams we might see England playing against, or what you meant by the plans?
No, I think because we've had a lack of competitive fixtures, we're not going to She Believes. Sue and Kay are working really hard with doing something really exciting in February, in particular that we can't announce yet, because obviously nothing is obviously guaranteed and nothing's signed, sealed and delivered. But I think if it does come off, I think it'll be really exciting for the players, and one that we can really look forward to, that will really benefit us. Going into the next 12 months of their development. So I think the need now is for competitive fixtures. We always planned in April to maybe just go for maybe a training camp in April when obviously the players are coming to the back end of the season. But ultimately now the need for competitive fixtures, I think, is greater than ever. We need to we talk about capital accumulation, we talk about experiences. I think it's now important that we've probably missed 2 or 3 opportunities since the lockdown to expose some of our players. So we need to make up for that after Christmas.
The other thing I was going to ask is, can I just get your thoughts on the news of fans being able to return to football, but obviously in a sort of broken up way? Is it a problem that some teams will be having fans, others won't, in terms of an unfair advantage, both in the men's and the women's game?
Yeah, I think if you're looking at it from an emotional point of view, it's like you want to see all teams having the same amount of fans in a stadium, because we want to see fans back in stadium. But ultimately, I think from a balance point of view, I think ultimately you have to trust the government that they're doing this to save people's lives. And I think we mustn't forget that they are having this tiered system, because in some areas people are still dying, suffering, getting the infection, getting the virus. So ultimately we have to trust the scientists and the experts that this will help save my mother, my father, or my family. It might help save people's lives. So yes, we want football fans back in stadiums, but we have to trust that ultimately this in period of time, we can't just do the norm. And ultimately, if this decision is going to help save our families' lives, I think we've just got to get on with it.
Okay, cheers.
Thank you very much, Phil. Can we go to Molly Hudson for the Times, please?
Hey Phil, just a couple from me. Firstly, you'll mention Millie and LJ and Ella. Obviously, they've made a step forward for Manchester United with how well they've done domestically this season. Have you seen that in the players when they've come into camp? Because a lot of talk has been sort of that mental step they might have made, that they can really compete at the very, very top level now.
Millie Turner can compete at the top level. I think in the 3 camps, she's shown that on and off the field, been a breath of fresh air. In her performances, an absolute dream to work with. Obviously, she's not got an England cap yet. We've not seen her in an England international. She's still got growth, etc. She has really jumped forward. Lauren James, Rinsola, say for instance, Grace Fisk. They're players that we're developing. They're players that they're part of our long-term vision. But Millie, I think, is at the point now where she's part of our long-term vision, but it's part of our short-term vision as well. And the players are aware of the ones that we've brought in. We've made it. We've been really clear with them about where they stand on the vision and where their games will be. And is it the Olympics? Is it the Euros, or is it the World Cup? A lot of players in this squad are probably more Euros, World Cup, mainly World Cup probably, because the Euros is only 12 months away nearly. So they're fully aware. They're fully aware of what they need to do. But I think within the plans, you always get some people that really jump out. And we've had, I think, 2 or 3 that have really jumped out, and Millie Turner's probably been one of them.
And I remember this time, probably last year, we was stood in Czech Republic, pretty cold.
Oh, Molly, that was cold. It was colder here, let me tell you. Stoke on a Friday night.
We was pretty delighted that night to get that year out of the way and focus on the new one. Obviously, this year has been pretty difficult for various reasons. How would you look back on it now?
I think as a manager, you always tend to look back in terms of how far you've come on results, and because we've not had any results since September, it's a weird feeling, to be fair, because you want to be judged on results and you want to see the fruits of your work in results. So it's difficult. When you go and see, I go and see Sue and I sit down and do my reviews and my PDRs, you think, oh, we've won the last 3, we've won 3 out of the last 4. We can't say that. So I think as a manager, you want to be judged on your results. You want to be judged on people seeing the performances come to fruition on the field. So I think we'll not be able to judge what these 3 camps have given us until we get to February, until we get to April, until we get to June. So I think from that point of view, it's a little bit frustrating, but I think we've done great work. I think getting these younger players and this transitional period in there, looking at the more long term, looking at how we're going to transition this group of players and this squad into Serena, I think we've done well.
Brilliant, thank you.
Thanks, Molly.
Thank you, Molly. If we could call it a day there for the Phil Neville press conference. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.